I've hunted every Night Fury, except yours. Hand him over.
I will never give him up.
Then I will destroy everything you love.
We're no longer safe here. We all have to disappear.
When people talk about animated trilogies that manage to grow alongside their audience, one of the most frequently mentioned examples is How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, the 2019 conclusion to a story that began nearly a decade earlier. Directed by Dean DeBlois and featuring voice performances from Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, and Cate Blanchett, the film serves as the final chapter in the journey of Hiccup and his loyal dragon companion, Toothless. By the time the story begins, the world of Berk has transformed dramatically from what it once was. Long ago, dragons were feared creatures, enemies of the Viking people who lived on the rugged island. Through courage, empathy, and an unconventional friendship between a boy and a dragon, that entire worldview changed. Dragons became partners, allies, and friends. But with that new harmony came new challenges, and the story of How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World explores the idea that even the most beautiful eras cannot last forever. At the center of the story stands Hiccup, now older, wiser, and burdened with the responsibilities of leadership. The awkward, inventive boy who once struggled to fit into Viking culture has grown into the chief of Berk, carrying forward the legacy of his father while trying to shape a more compassionate future for his people. His bond with Toothless remains the emotional core of everything. Toothless is no longer simply a mysterious night fury rescued from battle. He has become something legendary among dragons. As the alpha, he commands the respect and loyalty of countless dragon species. Yet, even with that position of authority, Toothless still behaves like the curious, playful creature audiences fell in love with years earlier. The connection between him and Hiccup remains almost telepathic, a relationship built on trust that goes beyond words. Life in Berk has become lively and chaotic. As Hiccup continues rescuing dragons from hunters across the world, the island has turned into a sanctuary filled with creatures of every shape, color, and temperament. Dragons glide through the sky above Viking homes, curl up beside fires, and crowd the streets in a way that feels both magical and overwhelming. What once seemed like a dream of coexistence is now a complicated reality. The island is becoming crowded, resources are stretched thin, and the presence of so many dragons inevitably attracts attention from dangerous enemies. Hiccup's dream of protecting dragons has unintentionally painted a target on Berk. The story deepens when rumors begin to circulate about a legendary place known among dragons as the Hidden World. According to ancient stories passed down through generations, it is a vast and secret realm beneath the earth where dragons originally came from, a place beyond the reach of human hunters. For dragons, it represents safety, freedom, and a return to their true home. For Hiccup, the idea is both hopeful and troubling. If such a place exists, it could mean salvation for dragons everywhere. But it could also mean a future where dragons and humans must live apart once again. At the same time, a new enemy emerges, one unlike the brute force villains faced in earlier adventures. This threat arrives in the form of Grimmel, a cunning and calculating dragon hunter whose reputation alone is enough to strike fear across distant lands. Unlike other hunters who simply capture dragons for profit or power, Grimmel sees himself as something of a strategist and purist. He prides himself on understanding dragons deeply enough to outsmart them. In fact, his legend is built on the claim that he once hunted nearly every night fury in existence. When he learns that one still lives under the protection of Hiccup, he becomes obsessed with finishing what he started. Grimmel's approach is not reckless violence, but manipulation and patience. He studies Berk from a distance, searching for weaknesses, predicting how Hiccup will react, and planning traps that rely on psychology as much as physical force. This makes him particularly dangerous because he recognizes the emotional bond between Hiccup and Toothless and intends to exploit it. In many ways, Grimmel represents the ideological opposite of Hiccup, Where Hiccup believes dragons deserve freedom and respect, Grimmel believes humanity must dominate them completely. While the human conflict grows, an unexpected change occurs in Toothless's life that shifts the emotional direction of the story. One night, a mysterious white dragon appears near Berk, moving through the sky with elegance and grace. She belongs to a species rarely seen and instantly captures Toothless's attention. Known as the Night Fury, she possesses abilities similar to his own, but with subtle differences that make her seem both familiar and entirely new. Her design reflects softness and agility, rather than the stealthy darkness associated with Night Furies. Toothless's encounter with the Night Fury introduces something he has never experienced before: romantic curiosity. Suddenly, the confident alpha dragon becomes awkward and uncertain, mirroring the social struggles Hiccup once faced as a teenager. He attempts elaborate displays to impress her, practicing dances, presenting gifts, and even mimicking human behaviors he has observed. These moments bring humor and charm to the story, but they also highlight a deeper emotional shift. For the first time, Toothless begins exploring an identity beyond simply being Hiccup's partner. Hiccup notices this change almost immediately. Although he initially finds Toothless's behavior amusing, he gradually realizes that his best friend is discovering a world that might not include him. Watching Toothless attempt to connect with the Night Fury forces Hiccup to confront the possibility that dragons may ultimately belong somewhere humans cannot follow. It is a quiet realization that slowly builds throughout the film. Meanwhile, Grimmel's plans grow more dangerous. Understanding that the Night Fury could lead him directly to Toothless, he uses her presence as bait. The hunters under his command begin closing in, threatening the fragile peace of Berk. Hiccup realizes that continuing to shelter dragons on the island is becoming impossible. If hunters like Grimmel keep coming, the entire community will eventually be destroyed. Faced with this dilemma, Hiccup makes a bold decision. Instead of waiting for enemies to attack, he chooses to lead the entire population of Berk, humans and dragons alike, on a journey to find the hidden world. It is an enormous undertaking that reflects his growth as a leader. The people of Berk have always trusted him, but asking them to abandon their ancestral home requires faith in something uncertain. Still, they follow him, believing in his vision of a safer future. The journey that follows carries the sense of a final adventure, one last quest before the story reaches its emotional destination. As the group travels through unknown territories, they encounter breathtaking landscapes filled with towering cliffs, vast oceans, and hidden caves that hint at ancient dragon history. The animation brings these environments to life with extraordinary detail, emphasizing both the beauty and the scale of the world. Every flight sequence feels fluid and exhilarating, reminding viewers why the bond between riders and dragons became such an iconic element of the series. During these travels, the relationship between Hiccup and Astrid also continues to mature. Astrid has been his partner in courage and leadership since the earliest days of dragon riding. Their connection feels grounded in mutual respect and shared experience, rather than dramatic romance. As they face the possibility of leaving their old lives behind, their bond grows stronger. Astrid often serves as the voice that reminds Hiccup of his own strength, encouraging him to trust his instincts when doubt creeps in. While the humans search for the hidden world, Toothless and the Night Fury begin forming their own connection. At first, she remains cautious around humans, clearly wary of the relationship Toothless has with Hiccup. Over time, however, she starts to recognize the depth of that bond. Toothless attempts to bridge the gap between both worlds, but the tension is always present. The Night Fury represents the call of nature, of a life where dragons exist independently of human influence. Grimmel's pursuit eventually reaches its most dangerous stage when he manages to corner the heroes with an elaborate trap involving sedatives designed specifically for Night Furies. The confrontation forces Hiccup and Toothless into one of the most intense challenges they have ever faced together. It is a moment that reinforces how far both characters have come since their first meeting. The timid boy who once struggled to fight has become a strategist capable of outthinking his enemies, while the once injured dragon has become a powerful leader of his species. Yet, even as they escape immediate danger, the emotional truth becomes clearer. The hidden world, when it is finally discovered, reveals itself as a vast underground paradise illuminated by glowing crystals and lava-lit caverns. Dragons of countless species soar freely through its enormous spaces, living without fear of hunters or cages. It is a place where dragon civilization seems to flourish naturally, untouched by human interference. Standing in this breathtaking realm, Hiccup understands something profound. Dragons do not truly need humans in order to survive or thrive. Their partnership with people was born from extraordinary circumstances and remarkable friendships, but it was never the natural state of the world. If dragons are to remain safe, they may need to live apart from humanity entirely. This realization forms the emotional heart of the story's conclusion. Hiccup and Toothless must face the most difficult decision of their lives, letting each other go. Their friendship was never about ownership or dependence. It was about trust and freedom. If Toothless chooses to lead dragons in the hidden world, Hiccup must accept that choice, even if it means losing the companion who shaped his entire life. The farewell between them becomes one of the most poignant moments in animated storytelling. There is no dramatic speech or elaborate explanation. Instead, the scene relies on quiet gestures and shared memories. Hiccup removes the automatic tail fin that once allowed Toothless to fly freely beside him, symbolically acknowledging that the dragon no longer needs human assistance. Toothless, in turn, hesitates before departing, clearly understanding the weight of the moment. When Toothless finally flies away with the Light Fury and the other dragons into the depths of the hidden world, it marks the end of an era. The skies above Berk become silent in a way they have not been for years. For the people of the island, it feels like losing family members, but Hiccup knows the decision was necessary. Years pass after that separation, and the story eventually reveals how life continues. Hiccup and Astrid build a future together, raising a new generation while preserving the memories of the Dragon Age. The world of humans evolves and dragons remain hidden where they are safe. In a touching final moment, Hiccup returns to the edge of the ocean with his family and encounters Toothless once more. The reunion is brief but filled with warmth, suggesting that true friendships never disappear, even when circumstances change. The film closes with the idea that dragons are still out there, waiting in the hidden world until the day humanity becomes wise enough to share the skies again. It is a hopeful message that balances nostalgia with acceptance. Rather than ending with permanent loss, the story suggests that some connections transcend distance and time.